What's up guys, my name is Ace, and with Season 2 coming to an end and Season 3 right around the corner, I wanted to take a look back at Season 2 and share my overall thoughts and opinions on this season now that we've experienced all of it. Now I am going to be covering my thoughts for both multiplayer as well as Warzone, and I'll give a mention to Outbreak as well. Keep in mind, I'm not much of a zombies channel, so I don't really keep up with that stuff. This is mainly going to be about multiplayer and Warzone. And let's just start it off with my multiplayer thoughts. When Season 2 first launched, we got literally one map added to the game. I'm not talking just 6v6 maps, I mean literally one map, and this was Apocalypse. And for a game that's already lacking in map count, this was just ridiculous to me that we only got one map. And even though I really like Apocalypse, and I think it is a good map, this just wasn't enough content at launch. This was extremely underwhelming, and definitely one of the most disappointing parts of the season for me at least. Normally when it comes to a new season with Call of Duty, we will get at least 3 to 4 maps in a season. So just having one felt extremely lackluster. Now later in the season, we did get Golova as a multi-team map, as well as Mansion as a 2v2 map, and then we also got Miami Strike, which again, I like the map, I like what they did with Miami Strike, I like the fact that it doesn't just play like Miami in the daytime, it does feel like its own unique map, just with a familiar setting. But when it comes to 6v6 maps, throughout the entire season, we only got 2 6v6 maps. And that I just find to be incredibly frustrating. It feels like such a slow trickle of content that we got when it comes to multiplayer maps for Season 2, so that part I found to be very disappointing. Now, one thing that I did like about Season 2 is they brought in the Death Machine. I feel like the Death Machine score streak is a lot of fun to use. I don't think it's way too incredibly overpowered or anything. It is a very powerful streak if you use it right. But I would say it takes a lot more skill to use than like a War Machine, for instance. And like I said, it's just enjoyable to use. So that is a positive. I like that they brought that to the game. Then when it comes to new weapons, we got the Farah 83 as well as the LC10 SMG, and I really like both of these guns, especially the LC10. I had a ton of fun with that. I know they nerfed it quite a bit recently, but it's still a very good and solid SMG to be using, and I do enjoy those weapons. Also, mid-season, they brought in the new sniper rifle, the ZRG 20mm, which for multiplayer, I feel like was a good addition overall. I don't think it really plays well in Warzone. I know some people disagree with me on this, but I really wish they would have balanced the ZRG 20mm completely different for Warzone. Now finally for ranged weapons, they brought the crossbow in, and I think this is probably the highlight of the season for me, which I think is kind of sad that that's the highlight, but honestly, I really enjoy using the R1 Shadowhunter. It offers a really nice change of pace and a change of gameplay style that we didn't have access to before we got this. And I've just really enjoyed using this crossbow throughout Season 2. I've had a ton of fun with this since it came out. Additionally, when it comes to gameplay related things for multiplayer, like we're not talking about cosmetics or anything here, we got Gun Game, which was a welcome addition. However, I really don't enjoy playing it, mainly because it ends with fists, or at least the last time I played it, it ends with fists instead of the combat axe. And I never really understood why they went that direction with it. We also got Stockpile, which is just a returning game mode from previous Call of Duty games. Nothing too surprising or great about that. And then we also got Multi-Team Hardpoint, which I could see how a lot of people would prefer Multi-Team Hardpoint over Fireteam Dirty Bomb. I don't have too much experience with this mode though, so I don't have much to say about it. Speaking of game modes, they've also added gunfight tournaments, which I think is good for the people that enjoy playing gunfight. I'm not really into it this time around. I'm mainly just focused on the traditional 6v6 Call of Duty multiplayer experience, and when we just hone in on 6v6 with Season 2, this was an incredibly disappointing season. Simply put, I still feel like we just don't have enough 6v6 maps, and this season just didn't do enough to help beef those numbers up. And when it comes to multiplayer overall, that's pretty much all we got when it comes to Season 2. And this is why I feel when it comes to multiplayer, this was just a very lackluster season, and it didn't add nearly as much as we've come to expect out of seasonal updates with Call of Duty. Having said this, on the zombie side of things, we got Outbreak. And Outbreak is a brand new experience, and it's something that we've never seen before. We've never had anything like this. We've never played anything like this. And it was a great way to utilize those Fireteam maps and mix that with the zombies experience. I think they did a very good job with this, and as somebody that doesn't even really play zombies, I'm not personally into zombies much, I had a very enjoyable time playing Outbreak. I played it for a full live stream. I got carried by some of you guys, and we got to a fairly high round, I think. Nothing too insane, but we did good. We had a solid like 2 to 2.5 hour run. And if I were more interested in zombies in general, I think I would have loved this season a lot more just because Outbreak is great, in my opinion. But that's pretty much it on the Cold War side of things. Now I want to share my thoughts on Warzone. Narratively speaking, this entire season was basically a long, drawn-out lead-up to Season 3. Zombies arrived in Verdansk at the beginning of the season. They moved from location to location. They didn't spread or anything. They just moved from location to location. Things didn't really start ramping up much until last week. So throughout the entire season, not a whole lot was going on. There was no real significant map changes or anything. We got the shipwreck added. That's about it. And then zombies just move from location to location. Additionally, the new weapons that they added throughout the season with Cold War, the ones we've talked about, the Farah, the LC-10, the ZRG 20mm, and the crossbow, none of these really competed with the meta at all, so even though it was new content to use, they weren't really great choices for Warzone, and therefore it didn't really feel like new, exciting, fresh content to use in Warzone because you were just putting yourself at a disadvantage by using them. And that leads me into my biggest problem with Warzone throughout Season 2. This is the meta that just wouldn't go away. And I'm mainly talking about the FFAR, but also mixing in the burst rifles there, the AUG and the M16. Season 2 of Warzone honestly felt like we were playing a hardcore version of Warzone compared to what we used to see before the Cold War integration. I know the DMR meta was also really bad, but this meta stuck around for basically the entire season where people are just getting melted almost instantly by FFARs, or AUGs, or M16s. And honestly, throughout Season 2, I didn't enjoy Warzone's Battle Royale at all. I barely even played it. I still love testing things and making content, and I'm happy to go and get gameplay and plunder for my videos, but when it comes to the actual Battle Royale experience in Warzone, for me, when we're looking at that extremely fast time to kill for the meta guns, combined with the fact that my connection in Warzone plummeted after the Cold War integration, and now I rarely get better than 100 milliseconds of ping, the entire experience was practically unplayable for me. I honestly felt like I would have just as much fun sitting at my desk flipping a coin, because that's what gunfights were feeling like to me. There were just far too many situations where you get melted before you even realize that you're being shot, you're already dead, even though you have full armor plates equipped, and you didn't let them get a headshot with a sniper rifle, they just melted you with a full auto gun. And then looking at the connection side of things, like I said, before the Cold War integration, my connection was at least reasonable in Warzone. I didn't feel like I was at a massive disadvantage. But something changed somewhere along the line, roughly around the time of the Cold War integration, and I know that's before Season 2, and we're just talking about Season 2, but my connection got way worse in Warzone, through no fault of my own. Something changed on their end, and then when you combine that with the fact that we have an extremely fast time to kill potential now, it just made for a practically unplayable experience on my end while playing Warzone, and this is why I barely touched the Battle Royale of Warzone throughout the entire season. I wanted to get back into it, I wanted to enjoy it, but every time I'd hop back in to give it a shot and try to get back into it, I just had a terrible experience, and I always felt like I was at a massive disadvantage due to my connection combined with the time to kill problem. So I know a lot of that part is personal to me. For those of you that have a great connection experience in Warzone, this probably wasn't nearly as much of an issue for you. But overall, for Season 2, I just feel like it was extremely underwhelming, and I didn't want to play it at all. And that pretty much just sums up my thoughts on Season 2 overall. I think it was a very underwhelming season, possibly the worst season we've ever seen in a Call of Duty game that has had a seasonal system. And really, there were only a couple little highlights for me. The R1 Shadowhunter, I had a lot of fun with that, and Outbreak, which is great, even though I'm not really into zombies all that much. Now, fortunately, it looks like Season 3 is going to be a lot better based on what we can see so far. I hope I'm right on that one. But already, just looking at the roadmap, it looks like we're going to be getting more 6v6 content. It also looks like we're going to be seeing a very big change to Warzone, where it seems likely that we're going to be seeing some massive map changes, even though it's not going to be an entirely new map as far as we can tell. It looks like we're getting an 80s Verdansk, and at least it looks like we're going to be seeing much more significant changes than we saw throughout Season 2. So I am looking forward to Season 3. I hope it's enough to redeem themselves after Season 2, because I just think Season 2 was terrible. Of course, that is just my opinion. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what did you guys think of Season 2 overall for Cold War as well as Warzone? Do you agree with me? Do you think it was quite an underwhelming season? Or do you disagree? Do you think it was actually quite good? Just let me know those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.